guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you just a quick tutorial on how to make a card in the box. I've seen these videos. Actually, there's lots of YouTube videos. If you just Google card in a box, you'll find a lot of videos on how to make one of these cards. So I'd seen these, I think I saw these on, I'm not sure if I saw them on the in Pinterest or somebody's like a social media site or something. I just can't remember, but I knew that I wanted to make one because I just find them, I think they're just so fun to like cards to give. So what I did when I found the videos on YouTube, I found that most of them showed you how to make the A2 size card so that you can fit it inside your envelope. But I like to make 6x6 cards, which I've mentioned in my videos before. It's just my go-to size. I feel like if you're gonna make a card, you might as well go big because you know, you can showcase more scrapbooking. You have more kind of area to work on, and I just prefer 6x6 cards. So I basically took the principles that I learned in those videos and then I adapted it to make my own 6x6 cards. So I hope that you find this helpful because I didn't find a lot of videos on how to make this one in particular. So what you're going to need is a 6x12 piece of cardstock. So I would recommend a solid cardstock, but you certainly can pick pattern paper, but when you go to decorate it at the end, I think it's better if you have solid cardstock, but that's certainly up to you. So you need a 6x12, and then you're going to need one piece of 1 inch by 3 inches of the same color, and then you're going to need 2 of the 1 inch by 4 inches, and again of the same color. So the first thing you want to do is take your scoring tool, or using your paper trimmer with a scoring tool in that, and you want to score it at, this is actually a new scoring tool that Close to My Heart came out with. It's going to be available starting August 1st in our new annual catalog. Actually, we're moving to an annual catalog, so you're going to be able to get it from your consultant if you're interested starting August 1st. So what you want to do is take your piece of 6x12 and you score it at 3 inches all the way down the length of the cardstock, and then you want to turn it in your score tool and you want to score it at 3 inches and then at 6 inches, and then you just flip the paper around, because this one only goes up to 7 inches, so you know, but then it extends the ruler that way. So then you want to score it again at 3 inches. So basically you want to score it at 3, 6, and 9 inches, like down the cardstock. And then what you're going to do is, you notice that you have the score marks in there, so you're going to be cutting up on one side up 4 of the panels. So you basically want to cut it right to the middle score line. So you're going to be cutting that for each of these score lines on this side of the cardstock. Okay, and then you're just going to set that aside. And for these little guys, you want to score the one that's 1 inch by 3. You want to score it at the 1/2 inch mark lengthwise down the piece of cardstock. So that's your little piece there. And then for these guys, the 1 by 4, you actually want to score it on the width side at 1/2 inch on each side. Okay, and then you're actually done with your scoring tool. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is for these two 1 by 4s, you have to make a zigzag fold. So one goes back and the other one you fold forward. So whenever you're scoring paper, it's always better to use your bone folder to make the creases nice and tight. So I'm going to do that here. So again, you fold back on one, forward on the other. And this one, we did it lengthwise, so you're just going to be folding it in half lengthwise and scoring it. And then for this piece of paper, so what you're going to do is you're going to leave this flap as like just straight as it is, but you're going to be folding down the other 3 flaps. Now for this one, I find I want the flaps to kind of stick up a little bit like that. So in this case, I actually don't use a scoring tool because I don't want them to be flat down, because the whole point of this card is that you're going to be able to see the flaps up. So, and then the next thing you want to do is just create your folds on your other seams, and then you're going to take your, this is basically to hold the 2 sides together. Because you have a 6x12 piece of paper, you didn't have room really to make this smaller so that you could put the 2 corners together. So this just creates like a binding to put the 2 together. So all you're going to do is put adhesive on both sides. So you put adhesive on both sides, and then you're going to take it and put it right up against the end there, and then you're just going to add like you're just going to bring over the other side. So maybe I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. So then I'm just going to lay it flat like that, and then I'm going to bring the other side over, and you want to basically fold it down on itself right in the corner. So this is the box coming to shape. So again, this is the one I left straight, and then these were the ones I kind of folded down. So I kind of want it to be like that, like I want them to stick up like that when you make the box. So now these are the kind of ledges or whatever that you want to put in here so that you can kind of decorate the card and make it look like things are popping out of the box. So well, the trick that I've learned with these, or that I sort of discovered, is that, okay, so what you're going to do is actually put adhesive on your 2 little flaps here, and you're going to need to use something that's like a decent amount of adhesive, because if you use something that's too light, it's not going to really hold up. So what I did is I'm just going to take off the adhesive, and I take it off on both sides. This is a bit tricky because you have to try and put one side down without letting the other side stick, but I usually can figure it out. So what you want to do in this case is you want to put the left side, I'm more concentrating on getting the left side on the box first. So I'm just going in about 1 inch, and you want this to go right near the top on the left hand side. So I've put that in there, and then what you're going to do is you just fold it on itself, and then if I leave that, before I actually put this part down, I leave it sort of straight near the top edge, and then when you go to like close this and put it on itself, you'll have it in the exact spot that it's supposed to be in order to create so that it's even on both sides, and then you can either close the card this way or this way when you put it in the envelope. So I'm going to show that again. So you want to put the adhesive on both sides. Okay, so I'm going to take the second piece and I'm going to be putting it on the left side, and again you want to put it like 2/3 the way down the inside of that 3x3 square, and then again I just fold it like I flatten it straight on itself, and then make sure that this second piece is kind of lined up with the halfway mark, and then I put it like I just adhere it down to itself, so that again it basically goes in the exact spot that you need it to go into in order for you to close your card either way. So this is the base of the card, and now I'm going to show you a couple examples of cards that are finished and sort of how I embellish them, and some of the tips that I have for that as well. So if you're interested in that, just keep watching. Okay, so this is the first card in the box that I wanted to show you. So this one is using the new Chalk It Up Close to My Heart paper pack and a lot of the coordinating chipboard pieces and stamp set that goes with it. So this is basically what the card looks like laying down, and then I'm going to zoom out a little bit and show you actually what it looks like standing up. So here it is when you open it up. So basically these flaps, So here it is opened up, and basically these flaps kind of go off to the side, and then you know, I have the kind of front panel here, and then I did this one on the left, and then this is the one on the right. So and generally speaking, like what I do when I'm sort of creating my rows of images here is I start obviously the lowest, and then I kind of work my way up in height, and then and then this one is the highest. And so one of the things that I wanted to give you a tip about is if the card is actually closed flat this way, a lot of times what you should do is while you're making the card, you should keep closing it to make sure that your images on this side are not hanging over. Now in this case they are hanging over, but I have some envelopes that are a little bit bigger than 6 by 6, so I know I'm going to be able to fit it in there. So, but if you know, if you have envelopes that are meant for 6 by 6 cards, you want to make sure that any of your images aren't hanging over too far, either to the right or above the card here. So you do have the choice whether you want the card to go kind of this, like to close this way, or if it makes more sense for you to close the card the other way, then you're basically just doing the opposite, where you're having some of the images that are sticking out more on this side. So you decide, but once you decide, you need to keep checking to make sure that your images are within that confined or contained space. So this is the front of the card, and then it's just, there it is standing up. And then what you do is on the back, this is where you create what your sentiment or what you want to write on the card, because obviously there's nowhere to write on the other side. So basically you just put a panel of cardstock here, and that also keeps your back panel kind of standing up so that it doesn't flap over. And then you can embellish like anywhere you want on this card, and then it kind of goes off to, you can go off onto the side, again onto this side, because when the card is closed, it's like this, it's not going to hang out too much like on the other side. So that is the first card that I wanted to show you. I actually made this for my son who is graduating junior high this year, so I wanted to give this to him for his graduation. Okay, so this is the next card that I'm going to show you, and again this one's closed. Now for this one I did do a bit of a better job kind of staying within that 6 by 6 space so that it's not hanging over too much. This one, this little metal charm up here or embellishment is kind of hanging over the top a little bit, but that's really nominal, so it's not going to matter. So this is actually using the new brushed Close to My Heart paper pack, and they're coordinating vellum pieces. So, you know, it's the same idea as the last card I showed you, where it opens up, you know, it opens up towards the left when it falls open. And a lot of these coordinating pieces that I used are actually vellum. They're vellum stickers that goes with the brushed paper, but I put them all on white daisy cardstock first, and then I cut around them so that I could pop them up, and so that they were more, you could kind of see the image better, because they're vellum, they're kind of see-through, so you would lose part of the image if you didn't do that. So again, I'm same like principles. I used something that was a bit shorter, and then I kind of worked my way up in height. So for this one, I did get into the coordinating assortment pieces, which in this case are these metal flowers. So I use those on the card as well. And then this is one of the new Cricut cuts from the Artfully Sent Cricut Cartridge. And then we have the coordinating stamp set that creates this kind of frame around the wording, like the sentiment that I put inside. So, and then this is just one of the little flaps, and again, these are all vellum kind of stickers that go with the brushed paper pack. And for the sides, I should mention, when I'm embellishing these sides with paper, either these sides or these front flaps, they're 3 by 3, the cardstock is 3 by 3. So what I did is I cut down these pattern pieces of paper 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and in this case I kind of kept going down by 1/4. So I did 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and then 2 1/2 by 2 1/2, and then 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 to kind of get that gradient effect. So that's one of the measurements. And on this, in this one, I also put a piece of cardstock instead of leaving the back, just the canary kind of cardstock. I did put, it's very subtle, but it's patterned paper that I put right down into the card for the back, for this back piece here. And then again on the back, because you have this tag here, then you're able to embellish off like kind of the part where you want to write your sentiment, like your kind of card you want to write on the card for the person that's receiving the card. So you can kind of embellish off to the side because you're not going to see it from the front. So this is so fun. I just made these cards for the first time when I was preparing my work for the work that I was gonna, the projects that I was gonna show at convention for Close to My Heart at the end of June. So I wanted to make some of these cards because I'd never made them before, and so I was so happy. I was so happy with how they turned out. So I hope that you have the opportunity to make one of these cards yourself. They're so fun. They're so quick and really quite easy to make. And thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.